What if I told you that everything you think you know about history is happening in the wrong order inside your head? Not because the facts are wrong, but because the human brain is absolutely terrible at understanding time. Today, we fix that. With 10 coincidences so mind-bending, you'll question everything you thought you knew about when things happened. Welcome to Chrono Veritas. Let's rewrite your timeline. Let's start with the Queen herself. Cleopatra VII, arguably the most famous figure in all of ancient Egypt. Here's the question. Was Cleopatra closer in time to the pyramids or to the moon landing? Take a moment. Think about it. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC. She died in 30 BC. The Great Pyramid of Giza was completed around 2560 BC. That's nearly 2,500 years before Cleopatra ever walked in its shadow. But the Apollo 11 moon landing, that was 1969 AD. Only 1,999 years after Cleopatra's death. Cleopatra is closer by nearly 500 years to the moment Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon than to the moment the pyramids were built. Ancient Egypt is so ancient that Cleopatra herself was a historian, looking backwards at ruins that were already old. And speaking of those pyramids, here's what no one tells you in school. Woolly mammoths were not extinct when the Great Pyramid was built. We picture mammoths as Ice Age creatures from millions of years ago. But a small population survived on Wrangel Island in the Arctic, isolated, cut off, until around 1650 BC. The pyramid? 2560 BC. While Egyptian workers hauled limestone blocks under the desert sun, woolly mammoths were still roaming the Arctic ice. Two worlds that should be separated by an eternity, alive on the same planet at the same time. This one shocks the academic world every time. Oxford University is older than the Aztec Empire. Teaching began at Oxford around 1096 AD. The Aztec Empire, that vast, powerful civilization with its pyramids, its warriors, its extraordinary astronomy, wasn't founded until 1428 AD. By the time the Aztecs were raising Tenochtitlan from a lake, Oxford had already been educating students for over 300 years. History doesn't happen in the neat geographic boxes we put it in. Now we move to something that's either an impossible series of coincidences or proof that the universe has a very strange sense of humor. Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John F. Kennedy was elected to Congress in 1946. Exactly 100 years apart. Lincoln became president in 1860, Kennedy in 1960. Both were shot on a Friday. Both were shot in the head. Both were succeeded by men named Johnson, Andrew Johnson, and Lyndon B. Johnson. Lincoln's secretary, whose name was Kennedy, warned him not to go to the theater that night. Kennedy's secretary, whose name was Lincoln, warned him not to go to Dallas. Historians debate what any of this means, but the overlap across a century is impossible to ignore. We think of Shakespeare and the American Pilgrims as belonging to completely different eras. Shakespeare feels ancient. The Pilgrims feel like the beginning of American history. But William Shakespeare died in 1616. The Mayflower landed at Plymouth Rock in 1620. 4 years apart. Shakespeare was writing, performing, alive, when the very first English settlers in America were still in England, still deciding whether to cross the ocean. He never wrote about them, but they were his contemporaries. When you think of the American Civil War, you think of mud, muskets, and brutal hand-to-hand combat. The raw, agonizing horror of brother against brother. The London Underground, the world's first metro system, running trains through electric tunnels beneath a modern city, opened on January the 10th, 1863. The Battle of Gettysburg was fought in July 1863, the same year. Opposite sides of the Atlantic, two completely different versions of the world existing simultaneously. A gleaming technological future beneath London, a devastated, bleeding present in Pennsylvania. Time doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in layers. We close with a coincidence about time itself. The printing press was invented by Gutenberg in around 1440 AD. The Western Roman Empire fell in 476 AD. That's roughly 1,000 years between them. Now here's the part that will bend your sense of scale. The printing press is closer to us, to this video, to this moment, to your phone in your hand, than it is to the fall of Rome. We feel like Gutenberg is ancient, but Rome is twice as far away. Every time you share something, a post, a video, a message, you are separated from the fall of the greatest empire in history by less time than the printing press stood between them. History isn't a long road. It's a series of rooms, stacked on top of each other, collapsing inward. History isn't a boring line stretching from point A to point B. It's a collision of worlds, civilizations, and moments, happening simultaneously across oceans and centuries, in ways we never pause to notice. Cleopatra never knew mammoths had just disappeared. Shakespeare never met a pilgrim. A Japanese card company and an iron tower were born in the same year on opposite sides of the earth. The past is stranger than we imagined, and the more you look, the stranger it gets. If this video rewired even one of your historical assumptions, drop a comment below. Tell me which coincidence broke your brain the most. Subscribe to Chrono Veritas, because history is never what you think it is.